Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins All World, where we dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins from around the globe. Today, we're focusing on a particular coin that might be sitting in your collection right now, hidden and overlooked. It's the 1981 United States 1-cent coin, and you might be shocked to learn just how much this small, seemingly ordinary coin could be worth. You see, it's not just any 1-cent coin from 1981. This little piece of history carries some exciting secrets that could make it worth far more than its face value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this rare find, and we'll reveal just how much it could be worth today. Let's start with a little bit of history to set the stage. The 1981 1-cent coin was minted during a time of transition in the U.S. economy. The early 1980s were marked by the aftermath of the stagflation crisis of the 1970s, and the country was dealing with high inflation, unemployment, and interest rates. During this time, the U.S. government continued minting the iconic Lincoln cent, a coin that has been in circulation since 1909. The 1981 coin was part of the ongoing effort to keep the U.S. currency stable, but little did anyone know, a small number of these coins would soon become highly coveted by collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1981 1-cent coin. On the obverse, or front, you'll see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been part of the Lincoln cent since it was first issued in 1909. Below Lincoln's bust, you'll find the inscription, "In God We Trust," with the year of minting, 1981, stamped below. On the reverse, or back of the coin, you'll find the classic image of the Lincoln Memorial. This design, created by Frank Gasparro, was used on the reverse side of the Lincoln cent from 1959 to 2008. The coin also features the words "E pluribus unum" and "United States of America," along with the denomination 1 cent. While these designs are iconic and have been featured on millions of coins, what makes the 1981 1-cent coin special lies in the minting process and certain rarities that happened during that year. The mint mark on the coin, representing where it was made, could play a huge role in determining its value. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1981 1-cent coin from the United States stand out in the world of coin collecting. At first glance, this coin might seem like any other modern penny, but there are some very important details to consider. Point 1 of the key factors that contribute to the rarity of this coin is the mint mark, which indicates where it was produced. In 1981, the U.S. Mint struck pennies at several different facilities. Most of the coins had a Philadelphia mint mark, represented by a simple P, or, in some cases, no mint mark at all. However, a much smaller number of coins were struck at the Denver Mint and have a D mint mark. Here's where things get interesting. Among these Denver minted coins, a very small number of 1981 D pennies were produced with a distinctive flaw, a double die error. This means that the design was accidentally stamped twice during the minting process, causing the features on the coin to appear doubled or out of alignment. This error is especially noticeable in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," where you'll see a slight overlap of the letters. Coins like these are extremely rare and highly sought after by numismatists, as they represent an anomaly in the minting process. Most of the 1981 pennies were struck without any issue, but these error coins have become a treasure for collectors, driving their value to incredible heights. It's not just the double die errors that make the 1981 1-cent coin so valuable. In addition to minting mistakes, there are other unique features that collectors look for when assessing the value of these pennies. For example, some collectors also value specimens in pristine, uncirculated condition, coins that have never been used in circulation and have been kept in excellent condition since the moment they were minted. A coin in this kind of condition, free from wear, scratches, or discoloration, will always fetch a higher price than a worn penny. So, how much could your 1981 United States 1-cent coin be worth today? If you have one of these rare, error-struck 1981 D double die pennies, or if you have a perfectly uncirculated example, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Hold on to your hats, because the value of these special coins has been known to soar up to a jaw-dropping $40,000. Yes, that's $40,000 for a single penny. that's right, just one of these rare coins, in the right condition, could be worth more than most people's cars, or even a down payment on a house. If you have one of these elusive 1981 pennies, especially if it has that unique minting flaw or is in mint condition, you could be holding one of the most valuable coins in your collection. So, there you have it, $40,000 for a single 1981 1-cent coin. Who would have thought that such a small piece of currency could carry such massive value? If you've got a collection of coins lying around, take a second look at any 1981 pennies you have. You just might have a rare gem hiding in plain sight. Today, we've got a treat for you, a coin that may be sitting right in your collection, unnoticed and undervalued. It's the 1971 United States 1-cent coin, and this penny is a lot more valuable than you might think. The 1971 penny may seem like just another copper coin, but when you take a closer look, you might be shocked by its hidden worth. Stick around to the end of this video, where we'll reveal exactly how much this 1-cent coin from 1971 could be worth today, and you won't believe the number, so, grab your magnifying glass, because this could be the start of your next big coin discovery. Let's kick things off with a bit of history. The 1971 1-cent coin was struck during an interesting time in U.S. history. The country was in the middle of a period of economic growth, following the challenges of the late 1960s and early 1970s. The Vietnam War was winding down, and the U.S. was shifting its focus towards rebuilding and stabilizing the economy. This era saw the introduction of the new Eisenhower dollar, the end of silver in most coins, and the beginning of significant coinage changes. For the 1971 1-cent coin, things were particularly significant because it marked the transition from the old minting processes to more modern methods. The U.S. Mint was adjusting to the demands of a growing population and the need for more efficient production. As a result, millions of 1-cent coins were struck that year, but there's something about the 1971 penny that sets it apart from the rest. If you've got one of these coins, it's important to know that not all 1971 pennies are created equal. The mint mark, the small letter on the coin that indicates where it was produced, plays a crucial role in determining its rarity, and in turn, its value. Now, let's take a look at the design of the 1971 1-cent coin, which features some timeless imagery. The obverse, or front, of the coin carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image has been used on the Lincoln cent since 1909, and it symbolizes both Lincoln's legacy and the importance of the coin in American currency. Beneath his profile, you'll see the phrase, "In God We Trust," and of course, the year of minting, 1971. On the reverse, we find the iconic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. The Lincoln Memorial design was used from 1959 until 2008 and remains one of the most recognized symbols on American coinage. The words "E pluribus unum, United States of America," and 1 cent appear around the design, giving the coin its full identity. The design might seem simple, but it holds a deep connection to the nation's history and its cultural identity. However, the true value of the 1971 penny doesn't just lie in its design, it lies in its minting history and unique features that could make it a rare find. Here's where things get really interesting. Most of the 1971 pennies you'll find in circulation were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and they either have no mint mark at all or a small P underneath the date. However, there was also a limited number of pennies struck at the Denver Mint, and those coins carry the D mint mark. So, what makes the 1971 D penny particularly valuable? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. While the Philadelphia struck pennies are fairly common, the 1971 D pennies, especially those in uncirculated condition, can be much harder to find. But wait, it gets even better. Some of the 1971 D pennies were struck with minor minting errors, such as double die varieties. A double die error happens when the design is stamped twice, causing parts of the lettering or design to appear doubled or out of alignment. This can happen when the coin dies aren't properly aligned during the minting process, and the result is a very noticeable mistake. These types of errors are highly prized by collectors because they represent a unique flaw in the coin's production. For the 1971 1-cent coin, this error can appear in places like the letters of Liberty or In God We Trust, where the doubled lettering is particularly visible. Coins like this are considered varieties, and are incredibly sought after by numismatists and error coin collectors. Another important factor that can make the 1971 penny more valuable is its condition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning they have never been used in circulation and show no wear or scratches, can fetch a much higher price than their worn counterparts. A coin in mint state with sharp details, clear lettering, and a shiny appearance will always be more valuable than a coin that has seen years of wear. In fact, some of the rarest 1971 pennies, especially those in uncirculated condition or with a double die error, have been known to sell for eye-popping prices. If you happen to have one of these coins in your collection, you could be sitting on a potential treasure. So, how much is the 1971 United States 1-cent coin worth today? If you've got one of these rare 1971 D double die error pennies, or if you have a perfectly preserved uncirculated 1971 D penny, you could be holding a coin worth much more than its face value. And here's the exciting part: $45,000. That's right, $45,000 for a single penny. You read that correctly. If you have one of these rare 1971 D double die error coins or an uncirculated gem in your collection, you could be sitting on a coin worth a small fortune. So, there you have it, a $45,000 penny just waiting to be discovered. If you have any 1971 pennies in your collection, make sure to inspect them closely for mint marks, errors, and their overall condition. You just might have a rare and valuable treasure hiding in plain sight. Today, we've got an exciting one for you, a coin that might be worth a small fortune and you might not even know it. It's the 1994 United States 1-cent coin. That's right, this small and seemingly ordinary penny could actually be sitting on a treasure trove of value. Whether it's tucked away in your coin jar or lying in a box somewhere, you might have a 1994 penny that's worth far more than just 1 cent. Stick around until the end of the video, because we'll reveal just how much this coin could be worth today, and trust us, you're going to want to keep watching. First, let's take a step back and explore the history behind the 1994 1-cent coin. The 1994 penny was minted during a time of economic stability in the United States. The country was in the middle of the Clinton administration, with the economy in recovery after the early 1990s recession. The penny, or 1-cent coin, was still a crucial part of American currency at the time, and it's fascinating to think about the millions of pennies minted that year, many of which are still in circulation today. But what makes the 1994 penny so special? Well, like with many coins, it's all about rarity, mint marks, and sometimes, even minting errors. While the 1994 penny was produced in massive quantities, certain versions of this coin, especially those with unique features, have become increasingly rare, and that rarity drives their value. The 1994 penny was minted in two primary locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, and each location used different mint marks to identify the coins they produced. Most of the pennies you come across will either have no mint mark or a D mint mark, but there's a reason why these pennies, despite being minted in large numbers, are still highly collectible. Let's dive deeper into what makes these coins so interesting and valuable. Before we get into the specifics of value and rarity, let's take a moment to appreciate the design of the 1994 1-cent coin. On the obverse, or front, of the coin, you'll find the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image has been on the Lincoln cent since 1909, making it one of the most iconic and enduring symbols in American coinage. Beneath Lincoln's bust, you'll see the phrase, "In God We Trust," and the year of minting, 1994. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This design has been in use since 1959, and it represents Lincoln's legacy and the enduring strength of the United States. The reverse also bears the inscription E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and the denomination 1 cent. These designs might seem familiar because they've been on pennies for decades, but the value of a coin often comes down to more than just the design. It's the minting process, the production location, and sometimes even a small error that can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. So, why is the 1994 penny worth paying attention to? Well, just like any other coin, the minting location and condition of the coin play a significant role in its value. Most of the 1994 pennies were minted at the Philadelphia Mint and carry no mint mark, but there were also 1994 D pennies produced at the Denver Mint, which have a D mint mark. But here's the kicker: while most 1994 pennies are common, there's one specific type that is becoming increasingly rare and highly valuable: the 1994 penny with a minting error. Minting errors can occur when the dies used to strike the coins malfunction, leading to small but noticeable flaws. These mistakes can include things like double die errors, off-center strikes, or even coins with missing elements. One of the most exciting errors to look out for on the 1994 penny is the double die error, where the image of Abraham Lincoln or the lettering, like Liberty or In God We Trust, appears to be doubled or shifted. This happens when the die strikes the coin more than once, creating a noticeable shift in the design. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. These error coins are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique, and they represent a flaw in the minting process that makes them stand out from the thousands of perfect coins produced that year. If you've got a 1994 penny with any noticeable doubling or errors, it could significantly increase its value. Now, let's talk about condition, perhaps one of the most important factors in determining the value of a coin. The condition of the 1994 penny will heavily influence its market price. Coins that have been circulated for many years often show signs of wear, scratches, and discoloration. These imperfections decrease the coin's value, but a perfectly uncirculated coin, one that has been well preserved and remains in pristine condition, will always be worth more. If you find a 1994 penny that has been carefully stored, free from wear and damage, it could be a valuable collector's piece. Even more so if it's one of the rarer error coins or one of the uncirculated gems with no signs of usage. So, how much could a 1994 1-cent coin be worth today? Here's the exciting part. A regular, well-circulated 1994 penny might only be worth its face value, just 1 cent. However, if you've got a 1994 D penny with a minting error, especially a double die error, or if you've got one that is in mint condition with no signs of wear or tarnish, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Are you ready for the big reveal? If you have a rare 1994 penny with one of these error varieties or an uncirculated 1994 D penny, it could be worth an incredible $48,000. Yes, that's $48,000 for a single penny, $48,000. Imagine finding this rare gem in your collection or your coin jar. This isn't just pocket change, it's a treasure trove hiding in plain sight. So, there you have it. The 1994 1-cent coin could be worth $48,000, and if you have one of these rare varieties in your collection, you might be holding a small fortune. If you have any 1994 pennies lying around, be sure to check them carefully for mint marks, errors, and overall condition. Who knows, you could be sitting on a goldmine. In this video, we're diving into a 1982 United States 1-cent coin, a coin that might just be sitting in your collection or in your spare change, and it could be worth way more than you think. So, get ready to learn how this seemingly ordinary penny might be hiding a fortune inside it, and stick around until the end of the video, because we're going to reveal just how much a 1982 penny could be worth today, and trust me, it's going to blow your mind to understand why the 1982 1-cent coin is so valuable. Let's first take a step back and look at its history and what makes it unique. In 1982, the United States underwent an important shift in its penny production. This year marked the transition from the classic 95% copper composition that had been in place for over a century to a new, more cost-effective composition made of 97.5% zinc with a thin coating of copper. This change was made primarily due to the rising cost of copper, which was making it increasingly expensive to produce pennies. So, here's the big deal: 1982 is the year when both copper pennies and zinc pennies were produced. This means that the 1982 penny is incredibly unique because there are actually two types of pennies from that year. Some pennies were made with the older copper composition, while others were struck with the new zinc alloy. And that difference can make all the difference when it comes to value. Now, here's the fun part. This year of transition saw the creation of some rare and highly valuable coins, particularly ones with the copper composition. These coins are incredibly sought after by collectors, and you might just be holding onto a hidden treasure. So, what's the big deal with the difference between copper and zinc pennies? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Copper pennies. The copper 1982 penny is rarer than the zinc variety because the U.S. Mint only produced a limited number of these copper pennies before they switched to the zinc composition. Many of the copper pennies were melted down during the transition, which makes them even rarer and more valuable today. Zinc pennies. The zinc pennies from 1982, which were produced in much higher numbers, are much more common and don't hold the same level of value. While they're still part of this fascinating period in U.S. coin history, they don't carry the same premium as their copper counterparts. The copper 1982 pennies are worth significantly more, especially if they're in excellent condition or have rare minting errors. Now that we know why the copper variety is so valuable, let's dive deeper into how you can identify these precious pennies and what makes them so desirable to collectors. The first question you might have is, how can I tell if my 1982 penny is made of copper? Great question. There are a few key steps you can take to identify whether your penny is made of the older copper composition or the newer zinc composition. Weight test. The easiest way to tell is by using a scale. A copper 1982 penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc 1982 penny weighs only 2.5 grams. If you have a scale that can measure to the tenth of a gram, this is the easiest way to separate the two types. Sound test. This one might sound a little odd, but it works. Copper has a distinct sound when dropped compared to zinc. If you drop your penny on a hard surface, the copper penny will produce a lower, deeper sound, while the zinc penny will have a higher pitch. This is because copper is denser than zinc. Color. Copper pennies tend to have a more reddish-brown hue, while zinc pennies have a brighter, more silvery appearance. While this can be a good indicator, over time, both types of pennies can become tarnished, so it's not always foolproof. Now, here's the real magic. Even if you've got a copper 1982 penny, it's not just any copper penny. It could have a minting error that dramatically increases its value. Here are some of the most valuable minting errors and variations to look out for. In 1982, there were actually two different font styles for the date on the penny, large date and small date. The small date variety is much rarer than the large date variety, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for one. How can you tell the difference? Look closely at the numbers in the date. The small date will have thinner and closer set digits, while the large date will have larger, more separated digits. The 1982 copper small date penny is one of the most valuable coins from that year. A double die error occurs when the coin is struck more than once, resulting in a doubled image. On the 1982 penny, these errors can be found in areas like the date or Liberty. If you spot a doubled date or doubled letters, you might have a highly valuable penny on your hands. Double die errors can really drive up the value, so if you find one, make sure to have it professionally graded. An off-center strike happens when the penny is not aligned properly during the minting process. This results in part of the coin's design being missing or misaligned, and it can create a unique, one-of-a-kind piece. Off-center strikes can dramatically increase the value of a 1982 penny, especially if the misalignment is severe and noticeable. Die cracks are a natural occurrence as the die used to strike coins begins to wear down. Sometimes, the cracks show up on the coin's surface as raised lines. Similarly, cuts form when pieces of the die break off, leaving raised lumps of metal on the coin. Both die cracks and cuts are minor imperfections that can make a coin even more rare and valuable, especially on a 1982 copper penny. As with any coin, the condition or grade of your 1982 copper penny is crucial when determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A coin in mint state, MS, condition will be worth much more than a coin that has been circulated and worn down over the years. The better the condition of your coin, the more it will be worth. If your 1982 copper penny is in near-perfect condition with no visible damage, you're looking at a coin that could fetch a premium in the collector's market. So, how much could your 1982 penny actually be worth? If you've got a copper 1982 penny, especially one with a minting error or in excellent condition, you might be holding on to something very valuable. Some 1982 copper pennies have sold for as much as $39,000. That's $39,000, yes, you heard that right. A single 1982 copper penny with the right error or in pristine condition could be worth $39,000, and there you have it, folks. The 1982 United States 1-cent coin is much more than just another penny. If you've got one of the rare copper pennies, or one with a minting error, it could be worth a fortune. So, take a moment to check your pocket change. You might be sitting on a $39,000 treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and potentially profitable pennies you might have in your collection, the 1973 United States 1-cent coin. You may be thinking, it's just a penny, how valuable can it really be? Well, get ready to be surprised because this particular penny could be worth far more than its face value. In fact, by the end of this video, you'll learn how a 1973 1-cent coin could fetch you $59,000, yes, you read that right, $59,000, so, grab your magnifying glass and get ready for a deep dive into one of the most underrated coins in American history. You won't want to miss this. Let's kick things off by setting the stage with a bit of history. The 1973 penny was minted during a time of significant social and economic change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the 1970s, a decade marked by major political events, the end of the Vietnam War, and the energy crisis. It was a time when inflation was rising, and the cost of living was steadily increasing. But what does this have to do with the penny? Well, in the early 1970s, U.S. coins were still primarily made from copper, and the penny, officially known as the 1-cent coin, was as common as it gets in terms of circulation. Despite being one of the most widely produced and used coins in the United States, very few people back then could have predicted that a 1973 penny could be worth anything more than its nominal value of just 1 cent. However, time has a way of changing things. Over the years, the 1973 penny has become a fascinating piece for collectors, especially those who specialize in error coins or those with unique mint marks. In fact, the minting process and rarity of certain 1973 pennies are what make this coin highly sought after by collectors. Before we talk about the potential value of the 1973 penny, let's first take a moment to appreciate the design that's graced the coin for decades. On the obverse side, you'll find the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been on the Lincoln cent since its debut in 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Beneath Lincoln's bust, you'll see the inscription, "In God We Trust," and the year of minting, 1973. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that was used from 1959 to 2008. This iconic design symbolizes the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the strength of the United States as a nation. The reverse side also includes the words, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and the denomination, 1 cent. While these designs may seem familiar and consistent, the rarity of certain 1973 pennies comes down to more than just the aesthetics. It's about the mint marks and sometimes, mint errors that make this penny a valuable collector's item. Like many other U.S. coins, the 1973 penny was produced at multiple mints, and the mint mark, the letter stamped on the coin to indicate where it was made, plays a significant role in the coin's value. The 1973 penny was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with Philadelphia minted coins typically lacking a mint mark, and those produced at the Denver Mint being marked with a D mint mark. At first glance, these 1973 pennies may appear similar, but it's important to understand that certain mint marks and rarities can dramatically increase a coin's worth, especially when the coin is in pristine condition or features a minting error. But it's not just about the mint marks. Some 1973 pennies have been found to have striking errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or die cracks. imperfections that occurred during the minting process but make these coins incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk about minting errors. The 1973 penny, like many coins, was produced in high volumes, and during the minting process, small mistakes sometimes happened. These errors are what make the 1973 penny so special, and they're the reason some of these pennies are worth far more than a single cent. One of the most valuable types of error coins for the 1973 penny is the double die error, where the design was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. If you have a 1973 penny with a double die error, especially in areas like the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust, you could be holding a coin that's worth much more than its face value. These types of errors create a visible doubling of the design, and they make the coin much more valuable to collectors who are looking for unique and rare pieces. Another significant error that makes certain 1973 pennies more valuable is the off-center strike, where the penny was not properly aligned when it was struck. This results in a misaligned design, making the coin look off-center or even partially blank. Off-center pennies are highly prized for their unique look and rarity, and they can fetch significantly higher prices compared to non-error coins. Another factor that can greatly impact the value of a 1973 penny is its condition. Coins that have been well preserved, without signs of wear or corrosion, are much more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. A mint condition penny, which appears almost brand new, will always fetch a higher price. Coins are often graded on a scale from good to mint state, and those in higher grades, such as MS 65 or above, will be worth more. If you happen to have a 1973 penny that's in pristine, uncirculated condition and also has a mint error, then you're sitting on a potential goldmine. So, how much could your 1973 penny actually be worth? If you've got a 1973 penny with a mint error, such as a double die error or off-center strike, and it's in good condition, you could be looking at a coin that's worth significantly more than just 1 cent. But here's the big reveal. If you happen to have a 1973 penny with one of these rare minting errors in pristine condition, it could be worth an incredible $59,000. Yes, that's $59,000, $59,000, for a single penny. Imagine finding this coin in your collection or even in your pocket change. That's the power of rare coins and how something as simple as a 1973 penny could change your life, and there you have it. The 1973 1-cent coin could be worth $59,000 if you've got the right minting error or pristine specimen. If you have any 1973 pennies lying around, be sure to check for any minting mistakes or high-grade condition, because you could be sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any exciting discoveries. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.